Hello, my name is Kevin Walsh, and welcome to the channel. Um, if you've this is you meeting me for the first time, I'm going to let you know that I ramble and I stumble on my words often. But that's not indicative of me being shy in front of the camera. I'm actually pretty okay in front of the camera. I just, I have a habit of rambling or stumbling or getting my thoughts mixed up, so I apologize. I do like to think that it makes me come across as genuine in front of the camera. A lot of the stuff I'm going to be doing is not editing. It's going to be just, full videos about my real thoughts. And that's why I really want to do reviews, is because I'm very, very honest about the books I read. But a little bit more about me. You're probably wondering why the channel is called Kevin Walsh Author. Some time ago, actually, I was looking back. It was 7 years ago that I last published a book. And, that's a long time. The book is now out of print, and I'm not going to plug it here just because that's kind of behind me. I kind of look at some of my writing past as a failure, but I do look forward to maybe getting back into it next year. Actually, I do have some plans, and I'll go on later about that. But the main reason why I wanted to build this channel is because I love books. I read, fairly regularly. I wouldn't call myself a voracious reader like a lot of other people, but I do between 40 to 50 books a year. And I just found that I don't like reading books without expressing how I feel about them. And years ago, I used to do reviews for a site called buyzombie.com, and I used to review zombie books, which at the time was a newly emerging genre, especially for the indies. I'm not saying the zombie genre was coming around at that point. I'm not that old. But the indie zombie scene, when it came to books, was something that was still kind of fresh. And I was a kid who just fell in love with the genre as a teenager, and I just wanted to read as many books as possible on it. I absolutely fell in love with the whole zombie genre, zombie survival. I played zombie video games. I was just engrossed in the genre. I was madly in love with it. And, I was lucky enough to come across someone who was looking for someone to review books for a website. And that's what I did. I did written book reviews, and I did that for, a number of years, and I've read a lot of really cool books. And then there kind of came a time where I kind of got burnt out from zombie books, so I broadened my horizons. I looked for sci-fi, action, stuff like Jonathan Mayberry, the Alien books, which I have a bunch of them up here that you can't really see. But overall, I just love books, and lately I've come back to the genre, mostly because I've been writing in the genre a little bit. It's my first love when it comes to books. And with that in mind, I wanted to post videos of me talking about books. I do read books all the time, and I really particularly enjoy indie books by authors who are, putting out books themselves that they, some of them hoping to make a career out of it. And as someone who's potentially looking to self-publish again next year, I've developed a greater appreciation for indie zombie books. Like, I have no idea how much effort it takes to put a book together. Like, I just had no clue. You know, I was young and dumb and didn't understand. But now I have this greater appreciation. So whenever I read a book and I enjoy it, I want to talk about it. So that's the point of this channel. I don't really have great YouTube ambitions. I just want to post videos talking about books, about my enjoyment of books. I'm a book reader. I don't care about this channel getting 1,000 subscribers, anything like that. That's not my goal. I just want to talk about books. And if I do know these authors, I like to share the links to them, and they appreciate the videos I do for them. I like doing, and take a lot of pride in doing honest book reviews. And that goes way back to even when I was a teenager. If I didn't like a book, I let it know in the review. I will say I do have a greater appreciation now for the skill it takes to write, and all the effort it takes to put a book together. So I've matured a lot when it comes to the way I do my reviews. And even though I may come across as rambling or disorganized, I like to think that I could offer an honest critique for writers. I'm not a professional by any means, so I'll talk a little bit about my writing history. Um, Whenever I was younger, college age, well, I mean, you look at me now, and you could probably assume I'm still college age. But college was quite a few years ago. Um, and whenever I was in college, I published a handful of short stories. Some of them were unpaid, contributor, copy only, getting paid with exposure. But I was young and dumb and just wanted to publish. I had the sparkle in my eye. And, but then I moved on and I got some that were paying, penny per word, 2 pennies per word, things like that. So I got a little bit of money. Nothing, nothing to consider myself a professional by any means. But I was publishing short stories here and there, which was in retrospect very surprising because I was not a good writer. I look back at my writing and I cringe because I was not skilled whatsoever, and that's why I think that whenever I submitted to the more professional rates, I got rejected for good reason because I did not have the writing skill to make get into these really heavy duty anthologies with professional writers. I simply wasn't good enough. But what I did have going for me was that I was really creative and I had creative ideas. And sometimes that got me into these anthologies where, my writing did not deserve to be in the anthology whatsoever. I was a horrible writer. But my story was original enough that they wanted to include it. And I got compliments on that. Move forward a little bit, and when I was 19 years old, I actually signed a contract with Crowded Quarantine Publications, which has since become a defunct publisher, unfortunately, because they were really cool and they were publishing some really cool stuff. I published a book with them, and I failed. I was young and dumb, and I had no idea how to market a book whatsoever. I thought I did. I had no idea. And I tried to sell this thing, and I just really struggled. And I know that I failed my publisher in that regard. And I'm really sorry to the publisher who took a chance on my book, and I did not meet up to expectations, and they put in the money to put a nice cover on, and the main reason it failed was because I just simply wasn't that strong a writer. Or it was an extreme horror zombie book. I don't want to go too deep into it, but I had trouble selling the thing. Especially as a young writer, I found that was very difficult. Was selling a zombie book as someone who was like 20 years old was really challenging. But that was, that was a while ago, and I still persevered. I still kept writing. And a couple years later, I actually signed a contract with my dream publisher, Permuted Press, which was a huge shocker to me because I didn't think I was that strong a writer. But it also came with a lot of help. I had help from editor friends who did their best to help whip my manuscript into shape. And I owe those editors, I owe them a lot. Actually, one of them is currently working on something that I'm working on right now. But I had signed a deal with my dream publisher, who, if you don't know, Permuted Press was publishing these amazing zombie books, like classics at the time. And the idea of publishing alongside them was a dream come true. And, I was so excited to actually be publishing with them. And like I said, I didn't have a great writing style. I wasn't a strong writer. I just had a really cool concept in the book, and they had some faith in it. We fast forward a couple years, and Permuted Press went through some drama where all the books they were publishing, they weren't printing in paperback anymore. So they were doing ebook only for their regular Permuted Press titles, and I wasn't satisfied with that. And the company had gone through new ownership, and I wasn't fond of the direction that the company was going. I felt that it was fraught with concern. And I no longer saw Permuted Press as my dream publisher. I knew that by the time my book would come out, that it would be, the publisher would not even be the same anymore. So it wasn't my dream publisher. So I realized I had actually missed the boat on publishing, or I was just a little bit too late, to publish alongside some of my writing heroes. So the publisher actually offered a chance to dissolve contracts, and I took it. So I dissolved my contract with Permuted Press. And, from that point on, though, I had become very cynical about publishing, and I felt very unmotivated, even though I personally kept telling myself that I was going to, I was going to self-publish. I was going to have control of my own writing destiny. Well, fast forward 6 years later, and I haven't published a damn thing. I've just been working on my craft quietly, and I think I've written 11 books. Yeah, I've written 11 books, and I felt like for many years I wasn't satisfied with my writing style. So I just kept working at it. And now we come to today, where I'm going back and reliving my love of the genre. I just want to talk about books, and most importantly, I want to have fun with it. But the reason why I called the channel Kevin Walsh Author, even though I haven't published anything in years, is because it was a big part of my identity. It gave me hope. It made me feel good to be a writer. It pushed me through a lot of tough times in my life, feeling like I was an artist. And, like I said, I was talking about getting into self-publishing, and next year, I'm doing it. I've actually been working on a 5-book series that I'm going to be launching next year. And that's why we have the date up there. I don't think that's the exact date that I'm going to be launching the series, but that is a time frame that I'm going to be working and releasing stuff, and not just. And the exciting part is that I'm approaching it with patience. I am not rushing into it. Yeah, 6 years I'm rushing into it. I have a really cool idea for a series, and my writing has improved. I wouldn't call myself a great writer by any means, but my skills have improved over the past 10 years of doing this, and I plan on finally digging my heels in and doing it. And I'm not just saying that. I have all the gears in motion. Book 1 is currently in the hands of my editor. Book 2 has been drafted. Book 3 has also been drafted. And a companion novella has also been drafted, and I'm currently going through the edits myself. All the covers for the series is done. And, later this year I'm going to be working on the formatting, in the hopes that next year, when I plan on launching the series, that a lot of the work is going to be already done, at least for the first half. The books are going to be edited, they're going to be formatted, and they're going to be ready to go. So I'm not just, releasing one book and then, releasing another one in 8 months. I'm going to be trying to release the series regularly. I'm going to be launching it, and I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to get back into it, even though it's nerve-wracking as heck. But it's all this work I've been putting in has given me the greatest appreciation for indie writers ever. These guys put in a lot of work, so when they write and they do a book well, they deserve way more praise than I've given them in the past. And that's why I created this channel. I do plan on doing vlogs about my writing when we get closer to the publishing time, but that's not crucial. I'm just doing it for fun. Mostly, I want to focus on books. I want to focus on the other authors that I've met, some of which are really cool people, and some of which have, written some really cool stuff, and I want to talk genuinely about that. So, that's this channel in a nutshell. Like I said, I do have some publishing ambitions for 2022, which involves launching the series. But if you're, not interested in buying those books on Amazon, I also plan on launching a zombie epic onto Wattpad throughout that year as well. So I will be offering something for free, just because it was a really cool story that I wrote, but I don't feel like it met my writing standards, for the publishing level I want to do. But I still feel like I should let the story out there. So I will be posting it to Wattpad, and and I'll see if the people there enjoy it. And then I'm going to be working on my series, and I'm hoping to get as much work pre-done before I launch the series as possible, so that if people do like it, which probably won't, but people do like it, the series is going to be readily available. And I may bumble through it. I don't have a single clue about self-publishing, but I'm trying to do as much work ahead of time so that I could really give this a fair shot. I love writing. I love books. I'm not a good writer, but this is something I'm passionate about, and it's something that's been part of my life for a very long time. And for the past 7 years, I've practically been a closet writer. I haven't talked about it. I don't. People know that I do writing, but for the most part, I've been keeping it to my chest, keeping it to myself, which is an insanity of its own, I'll tell you that. But that's why I'm making a commitment and a change for 2022. And, if you guys want to come along for the journey, you're more than welcome to. You're more than welcome to watch my future failures, but here's hoping that I could, yeah, I guess that's something I should bring up too, is that I used to have the pie in the sky look that, oh, I'm going to become an author. I'm going to be full time. And I always had this in my head. And it was a hope that I clung on to. My life is actually pretty good right now. And the main motivation for doing it, for publishing next year, is fun. I just want to get my books out there again. I want to be a writer again. Well, particularly be an author again. I don't have hopes of becoming full time from it. I just want to do it because I have stories to tell, and I want to release them again. I want to get back into it. The writer in me is owed that, and I'm excited. So, if you guys want to stick around, subscribe, but it's not necessary if you just want to keep tabs on me from afar, or if this channel's not your thing. That's alright. That's alright with me. I don't have high expectations for this channel. This is all just for fun, and mostly as a place to just archive my reviews and talk about reading. But yeah, you guys have a good one, and I will see you in the next one, hopefully. Bye.